Hi everyone, my name is Damian Claudio. I'm with Team Creative Minds, and this is my beautiful team. We're here. I'm going to be going over the project overview, and Angelica James will be going over the primary research. Johanna Carizales will be going over secondary research. Michael will be going over findings and conclusions, and Nico will be going over recommendations. And then at the very end, I'll come back and give you an overview of our whole project. So a little bit about our project. We chose Craft as our client solely because that they're a small, local, unique business. And I say beneficial because this is a place where customers can go and create something and take home. So that's why it's unique and beneficial. And the whole purpose of our research is once we talk to our client Craft, we found that Craft is not meeting their desired market, and so we wanted to figure out the best tool that they can use, that Craft can use to get that target market. And we also found that they have a poor social media presence, and through that tool that we find, we want to make sure that they are utilizing that tool with the most effort. And now I'm gonna pass it on to Angelica to go over primary research.
Hi everyone, as Damien said, my name is Angelica, and I will be talking about the primary research, both analysis and the collection. The purpose of our surveys was to compile data to analyze whether or not students are using social media platforms, which social media platforms they're using, and if they are using social media platforms to get ideas for creative projects. We first developed these surveys by creating questions based on our clients' needs, and then reviewing and picking the top questions, and then we reviewed them with both our client and the instructor. Then we created a sample survey to get feedback from our peers, and then after receiving that feedback, we finalized and edited the survey, and it was ready to go. To achieve a 95% confidence level, we distributed 320 surveys, and these surveys were distributed whether in classrooms, in common areas such as the library, residence halls, student life, anywhere that we could get students to take our surveys. As for the analysis, our demographic was St. Edward students because they were easy to target. This is a target that our client wants to get, so it was pretty simple to achieve our demographics. From these surveys, from the 320 surveys, we received 306 back that were considered valid. Surveys were considered invalid if there was the participant's name on the survey, if there was more than one answer choice marked for one question, or if there were questions that were left unanswered. Then with the valid surveys, we tallied each answer choice for each question, and then created visuals. And to give you an overview of our visuals, one of our questions was, which social media platform do you use the most? And as you can see, Facebook leads with 40%. And another question was, what types of things do you look for in posts? And in this, we found that most people look for updates in their posts. Another question was, would you attend a do-it-yourself event off campus? And this would be beneficial for Craft to have maybe a event. That concludes the primary research, and now I pass it over to Joanna, who will talk about secondary research.
Like Angelica said, my name is Joanna, and I'll be talking to you a little bit about our secondary research. So one of the things that we looked at when researching our social media platforms was that we wanted to focus on the ones that most survey takers decided were the strongest. And so we decided to look into Facebook and Instagram because those were the primary research. Those were our best resources for the platforms. So Team Creative Minds decided to find information on the strongest platforms to target the young professionals that Craft wanted to look for in their audience. So Instagram has been found to engage and increase followers nearly 3 times more than any other platform. According to CEO Dan Atkinson of SumAll, a marketing analytics company. It's important for a company to join this network if they seek to gain new customers, especially when it comes to selling a visual product or service, which is what Craft is based on. Instagram has reached over 200 million users, and more millennials are signing up to be a part of it, which is, like I said before, Craft's target audience. Instagram is a great way to display visuals and to reach new customers. It's also important to look at how Craft is using their hashtags, because in our Instagram posts there hasn't been any actual descriptions or links to the Craft website or links to the Facebook, links to Craft's Facebook page. While Facebook can be used to strengthen Craft's their already consumers, Facebook can be used to reach new clientele by producing incentives and offers, such as offering discounts or allowing them to have some kind of form of freebies. It's also a better way to create communication between existing and potential customers. This allows customers to feel that they're establishing a relationship with Craft, and the company is also able to generate an excellent customer service and a good word-of-mouth reputation. Facebook also has the power to establish a company's reputation and brand image. It's also much easier to directly advertise through Facebook than any other social media platform, as opposed to Instagram, where it's mostly more visual and attracts new customers, where Facebook can already, where Facebook is more for consumers who are already engaged in that product and that service. So both Instagram and Facebook are very strong platforms for Craft. Instagram can bring new customers and it's more visually appealing, while Facebook contains lengthier information and can directly advertise and create a better sense of community between the customers that are already a part of Craft. So now I'm going to hand it over to Michael, who will talk to you more about the findings and conclusions.
Thank you, Joanna. As she said, my name is Michael. I'll be talking about the findings and conclusions both for our primary research and our secondary research. Some of this information is a little bit repetitive, but to say again, the top 3 sites, top 2 were Facebook and Instagram, followed closely by Pinterest. Of the people surveyed, a majority of them said that they don't willingly go out and do art for fun. So they're not going to go on their own and look for an opportunity to go do a do-it-yourself project. But at the same time, a majority of people are willing to go out and do a project. So if a friend comes up and says, hey, let's go do this do-it-yourself project, a majority of people are going to say yes, let's go do it. So if a majority of people are willing to, and the majority of people don't go do it, then what's the difference in that? What we concluded was they're not being aware of it. They don't know that those events are out there. They don't know that Craft is holding this event. What we found is that Craft wasn't utilizing Facebook in the way that it should be. Her posts weren't very descriptive. The pictures weren't the best they could be, which in the long run is just it's veering them away from the customers, her clientele that she wants to reach. Our secondary research kind of backed that up, and what we found with our secondary research is utilizing the social media sites that they do have efficiently is the key to success. You can't use a site in a way that your customers don't use it, because they're not going to know what you're doing or how you're using it. Kind of goes back to you have to give the people what they want. If the people use it that way and you want to reach out to those people, you need to use it in the way that they're using it. Like Angelica and Joanna kind of said, you got to use Facebook for advertising and for brand promotion. That's how you get your name out there, and how people who already know about your name are going to find events and discounts and stuff. Whereas Facebook and Pinterest Pinterest is the #1, they grew the most this last semester for content sharing, which is different than users logging onto the social media site. When the content sharing increases, that means the active users are sharing the post with their friends, and more people are hearing about it rather than just, oh, I heard Instagram was cool, let me download it, and oh yeah, I have it. If you don't use it, then it's kind of pointless. So Pinterest was the #1 growing site with 19.7% increase in the past semester, followed by Instagram, which had 18.2%. And with that, so she needs to use those ways that are efficient and that the way that all our customers use them. And I'm going to pass it off to Nico to talk about the conclusions, recommendations.
Thank you, Michael. I'm Nico Campbell, and I'll be talking about the recommendations that we have for craft based on our findings and conclusions. So our first recommendation is about improving their posts and the type of content that they put up. And by that we mean more shareable, informative, interactive content that people can relate to. So that would be something like instructions or how-tos on how to make an origami swan or things like that. Something that people can relate to and want to share with other people. Maybe it's a cool video. We actually think that videos are especially good content to be posting because 50% of people say they actually watch a video at least once a day when they go on Facebook, and 77% of people say that they usually see videos for the first time on Facebook. So if you remember all of the Ice Bucket Challenge videos that were going around, you saw all of those on Facebook. You didn't see them on YouTube. They were all getting shared on Facebook. So Facebook really is a great avenue for posting video content. So types of videos that she could post would be, instructional how-tos, or maybe like a time-lapse video of someone painting a painting. Those would be all just interesting content for people to share. Also, hashtags are actually really good tools to use when you're posting. They allow you to brand your company, they allow you to join conversations, and they allow you to encourage engagement. So an example of good use of a hashtag, maybe yesterday someone created a Darth Vader mosaic, and then Craft posts that on their page, hashtag May the 4th be with you, hashtag Star Wars. They join the conversation on Star Wars. Also, the new movie is coming out. All the nerds are really excited. And so it joins the conversation and it encourages engagement because everyone who loves Star Wars gets to see that, they like it. It's a good tool. Our second recommendation is that Craft should primarily focus on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest because, as we showed you in our primary research, Facebook is the #1 most popular social media site that students use at 40.2%, Instagram next at 34.6%, and Pinterest next at 12.7%. Those are also good types of sites for Craft to use because they are an art related business, and so very visual content. Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, very good ways to post visual content. And our third recommendation is that Craft just needs to invest more in their paid media. Unfortunately, social media marketing isn't really what it used to be, where you post something and it gets shared, everyone sees it, and it's not fully organic like we think it is. Actually, according to Social Baker, 77% of page reach in 2013 was done through paid media. So 77% of the time that you saw something is because they paid for it, not because it was organic. So if you really want to reach a larger audience, if you want more people to see it, then you do need to invest more into it. One thing I read today is that you actually only see about 1/5 of the posts that you could be seeing on your newsfeed. So, the newsfeed doesn't show you real time all the content that everybody you're friends with is posting. It uses an algorithm to determine what your best interests would be, and you really only see 1/5 of all that's out there. So if you want to break past that, then you do need to pay more. So we think that Google AdWords and Facebook ads are great marketplaces to start when you are purchasing some paid media. And we think that Craft should definitely invest in that. And also, as we suggest that they should use more paid media, we also think that they need to utilize ad analytics and performance metrics, because the best way to have a successful online e-marketing campaign is by making data-driven decisions. And so, Facebook ads provides really valuable metrics such as, your cost per clicks, your impressions, your click-through rates, and much more. Those are all really useful if you're running an e-marketing campaign and you are paying for ads. You can see how your ads are performing. You can A/B test to test ad copy, see which type of ad works better for people to click. So again, performance metrics definitely a useful tool if you want to maximize your ad spending. And lastly, because she does want to connect with, or because Craft wants to connect with a more mature young professional audience, we think that hosting BYOB events where she's not selling alcohol but allows customers to come in with it, have a pottery class or a painting class where they're allowed to bring in a bottle of wine, that kind of creates an adults-only environment and encourages more young professionals to come in. And you do not need an alcohol license for that. That's one thing that Craft was worried about, is that they couldn't host events like that because they don't have a license. But it's actually not true. Only if you're selling the alcohol do you need a license. But if you allow them to bring it themselves, it's okay. And now I will pass it back to Damien, our team leader, who will wrap it up by a review of our presentation and going over our number 1 recommendations.
Okay, so in our project, we went over the primary research, secondary research, the findings and conclusions from both those researches, and the recommendations. And our biggest recommendation for Craft is that Craft should be more interactive with its users both on and off social media. So that can be hosting those BYOB events at their locations so they can better connect with those young professionals that they desire, or answering questions on their Facebook, or posting those how-to step-by-step instructional videos on their social media platforms. That's our presentation. Do you have any questions?